Today on CityCast Boise, if, like me, you missed the Northern Lights the other night, have no fear. Our Hey Boise newsletter editor Blake Hunter is here to tell us about what's coming up in the night sky and all the best places to stargaze in Boise. Plus, I find out, is Boise a good spot for stargazers? It's Monday, July 17th. I'm Emma Arnold, and this is what Boise's talking about. Hi, Blake.
Hey, Emma. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Did you get to see the Northern Lights the other night?
I didn't. To be honest, I kind of forgot that they were coming in, but I had seen before, like in the days leading up to it, I had seen a few articles kind of come out that were like, maybe there's not as good of a chance as we thought. But yeah, so I didn't get to see them. Did you?
No, and I even around midnight went and got on our balcony and kind of tried to see, but you couldn't really see anything. I did see a couple people post pictures from Bogus that you could kind of see it. It looked like it was pretty pink and awfully pretty, so that was cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, let's just find out. Is Boise a good spot to stargaze? What do you think?
So a big thing with stargazing is obviously light pollution. It's funny because Boise, as far as cities go, globally speaking, I'd say is a really good stargazing city. And it is probably the worst place to stargaze in the entire state of Idaho, just because we have more light than anyone else. But again, because Boise is still relatively small, there are a lot of really good spots just kind of outside of town, not very far at all, that are really good spots to be able to go to and see a ton of stars.
Well, if it's not super great here, what are the best stargazing spots around the valley? Pretty close, within an hour or two.
So within an hour or two, I personally really recommend just kind of going out into the Morley Nelson conservation that's just south of Boise. I think it's the Snake River Birds of Prey conservation area. That's a really good spot just because there are just a lot of roads out there that you can just kind of go out onto. You might run into some teenagers partying, but that's fine. Just find your own little spot to go to. And then, again, up in the hills, so go up to Bogus. Lucky Peak is a big one. There's local organizations that host a lot of events at Lucky Peak just because it's so close for so many people. So yeah, I would say that those are the big ones. And then if you want to just kind of head out towards the Owyhees, even just up north, there are there's plenty of space, so there's plenty of spots to see a lot of stargazing.
What about Bruno? I know they just opened the new observatory out there. Have you been out there yet?
I haven't been out there yet. They just put up this new state-of-the-art observatory system that's free and open to the public. So I really want to go. I haven't been yet, but I think that'd be so cool.
We should go. I haven't been to Bruno in years, many years. We should
neither.
Go. It sounds like it would be really fun. Well, if people are stargazing in Boise, do they need special equipment, or do you think the naked eye is enough?
Well, so it kind of depends on what you're looking for. So we'll get into this a little bit more, but there's some exciting chances coming up to see a big chunk of the Milky Way galaxy. So that is definitely more naked eye because it doesn't really help a ton to really zoom in to see, the whole expanse of it. But if you're looking for specific planets, depending on the planet or depending on the star or that kind of thing, something like binoculars can help. But if you really want to get into it, yeah, you do need a telescope. But the nice thing, again, about Idaho being, lower light population state is that there are lots and lots of places to just go see a huge mass of stars. And then, a person who knows what they're talking about or can point you out into the right direction is going to be a lot more helpful than any equipment that you don't really know how to use. So, yeah, and then there are also some really good online tools, there's light pollution maps that you can look up that can kind of give you an idea of where to go for optimal viewing in your area.
What about local clubs or organizations around for stargazers? Does Boise have anything like that?
Yeah, so there is the Boise Astronomical Society, and they're really active. Looking at their schedule online, they have 3 or 4 events every single week, or meetups. They have ice cream socials I'm seeing. They have public star parties. They have general meetings. There's one coming up next week, or actually at the end of this week, up in Stanley. another one in Bruno. So yeah, they're really active. They're the people to talk to if you really want to get involved locally, is the Boise Astronomical Society.
You mentioned some stuff coming up that people should keep an eye out for. What's coming up?
Yeah. So the peak like viewing of the Milky Way galaxy is coming up. It's in our area at our latitude, it's roughly between like March and September. But the kind of peak of it is July and August. And so the reason to kind of be excited right now is that today is actually a new moon. So that means that we won't have like a visible to the naked eye moon in the sky, which again, like you might not think that a moon would really affect your ability to stargaze a ton, but it does produce a lot of light. And so especially if you are looking for, specific planets or really trying to zoom in on something, any sort of light at all can really hinder your ability to see things. So there's no moon or a new moon tonight, and so through the rest of this week is really a good chance to go see a lot of the Milky Way, or if you're really trying to find some things like specific constellations or things like that, that's a good time to check it out. And I can't remember exactly now, but a good chunk of the planets in our solar system are going to be visible within a certain few hours tonight and the rest of this week with assistance, like technical assistance.
And I know in August, there's the big Perseid meteor shower. Will we be able to see that from town?
Yeah, so that meteor shower starts like today, July 17th, and then it goes through mid-August. So, and that's going to be visible from town. So if you've never really seen a meteor shower, yeah, definitely try to go check it out at some point.
Talk to me about this dark sky reserve.
Yeah. So I'm kind of obsessed with these. I just think it's such a cool organization. So it's the International Dark Sky Association. And basically, the entire goal of this association is to create certain reserves or parks. They have like a few different designations where there's just really, really little light pollution, like little to none. And so it's really exciting to be in Idaho because we actually have four currently. And you mentioned the Bruno Sand Dunes State Park. They are trying to become a dark sky park as well. So the City of Rocks National Reserve down in southern Idaho is the newest one in Idaho. And then we've got a few more. We've got Craters of the Moon is another one. And the big one is the Central Idaho Reserve. So that one is really exciting because it's in the Sawtooth. So of course it's gorgeous. Of course everyone like knows about the Sawtooth. But what a lot of people don't know is that there are actually only 21 dark sky reserves in the entire world. And this is the only one in the US. And so it's like just a really, really top place to go stargazing because it has so limited light pollution. And yeah, so there are a lot of places in Idaho, that are trying to gain this dark sky designation because it draws in a lot of people. And also it's just like a really, really good thing for habitat. Like you think about wildlife and birds, especially, like light pollution really affects them. And so trying to reduce that is becoming a big focus of a lot of people. And this organization's a big part of that. So yeah, we have 4 spots in Idaho, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool. What about you? Are you a big stargazer?
Not really. I really want to get into it. I think that for example, like star navigation and just like understanding what stars are where and being able to like maybe use those just feels like that feels like such a tragic thing that we have lost in our age. And I would really love to get into that. But just generally, I really want to get into it more. And, camping, especially in central Idaho, I've had so many magical experiences of just being like, oh my gosh, like this is incredible. Just because it's incredible how much you can, just the more you look, the more you can see kind of thing. What about you?
No.
I mean, you grew up in Salmon, so
I know.
you know.
I guess, yeah, we camped a lot. And, of course, while I'm out camping or outside, I love to lay on the blanket or sit in a chair and stare at the stars. But I'm not somebody who knows anything about anything other than I know where the moon's at and I can show you the Big Dipper. But that's probably, that's the extent of my knowledge too. So,
yeah, I'm like, maybe this year, I think it's, obviously extremely overwhelming. I mean, space is massive. So outer space is massive. So I think I try to bite off too much. So maybe this year my goal will be to be able to point out all of the planets, or at least know generally where they're supposed to be with a telescope or something. So maybe just baby steps.
Yeah, maybe we need to plan a trip to Bruno. That's what it sounds like.
I think we should. Yeah, I think let's do it.
Little baby stargazers here. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Blake. This sounds like a plan. I think we should get into this because it does sound beautiful, and I had no idea about the dark reserves.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Thank you, Emma. I'm excited.
And here's some news to know today. The Idaho Statesman is reporting that there's some pretty clear disparities in income in Idaho's counties. No surprise, Blaine County came in as the wealthiest county with a median income of almost $72,000, while Camas County brought in just over $37,000. Turns out Ada County ranks fourth in the wealthiest category, with a higher median income than Blaine County, but lower home values. That's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you enjoyed the show, check out our Hey Boise newsletter. Blake does an incredible job. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more local stories from around the city. Bye!